Hyrule Warriors' Age of Imprisonment begins underground, with an adventuring Korok exploring a long-forgotten Zonai ruin. Lying on the cold stone floor, he finds a glowing shard of metal, its light pulsing in the dark fog. He picks it up, but before he can examine it, it is torn from his grip and locked inside an ancient mechanism, the chest of a mysterious humanoid machine. This construct was teased in Age of Imprisonment's trailers and promotional material, and was by far the most interesting mystery before release. Well, now that the game's out, this construct is still the most interesting part of Age of Imprisonment to me, and its story is still left somewhat ambiguous. So let's break down what we know about the identity and the story of this mysterious construct, and try to answer the question of what it truly is. Tears of the Kingdom begins with Zelda time-travelling to the distant past, to the time of Rauru, Hyrule's first king. Long before even this era, however, was the time of the Zonai. These godlike beings were the ancestors of Rauru and his sister, Minoru, and very little is known about them. What we know for certain is that by the time of the founding of Rauru's Kingdom of Hyrule, the new king and his sister were the last remaining Zonai in existence. Age of Imprisonment shines some light on the mystery of the Zonai's disappearance. Near the beginning of the game, Zelda, Minoru, and Rauru discover forgotten Zonai ruins in the depths. Marked throughout this chamber, in the glowing green script of the ancient Zonai, is written the ominous phrase, "Stay away." Indeed, these dark halls were evidently once locked behind powerful seals, but have since been opened, perhaps by some disturbance in the earth or just the passage of time. Within, lying dormant in stone beds, the group discover scores of constructs, machines dangerous enough to have been sealed away by their creators. Constructs were among the most important works of the ancient Zonai, and are still used extensively in the time of King Rauru, whether that's for defense, such as the soldier constructs, or convenience, such as the steward constructs. These autonomous machines were at the heart of Zonai civilization. Though Minoru has spent her life researching constructs, the ones discovered in this chamber are unfamiliar even to her, so with Rauru's permission, she begins to research them, and in ancient records, she discovers the truth. Unlike regular constructs, which possess no true mind of their own, these forgotten constructs were more advanced, and bore a will of their own. Furthermore, this mind could be imbued with energy. If exposed to light, the mind would strive to conquer evil, but if exposed to darkness, it would seek only destruction. These machines were weapons, able to house the magical power of the Zonai. But before long, the Zonai lost control of their creations, and the constructs went berserk, bringing an end to their civilization. Of course, it was one of these forbidden constructs that the adventuring Korok stumbled across at the very beginning of Age of Imprisonment. But while the construct is a relic from the distant past, the glowing shard the Korok finds is from the far future. At the beginning of Tears of the Kingdom, before Zelda travelled back through time, she and Link discovered the sealed body of Ganondorf, deep below Hyrule Castle. Once he woke, the Demon King immediately attacked, sending a tendril of his gloom towards Link, crippling his arm and severely damaging the Master Sword. Before he could recover, Ganondorf attacked again, and Link reacted with his own, swinging the Blade of Evil's Bane at the dark energy. But Ganondorf's power was too great, and the Master Sword shattered, sending a splinter of the blade across the Demon King's cheek and into the darkness beyond. Age of Imprisonment reveals that once Ganondorf collapsed the floor of the imprisoning chamber, this broken shard of the Master Sword fell alongside Zelda, As the princess's latent powers awakened and she transported herself back through time, this shard was taken with her. It seems that not only did Zelda unknowingly transport herself back through time to exactly when she needed to be, the Hyrule of the distant past, shortly before the Imprisoning War, she travelled to exactly where she needed to be too. Though she was falling even deeper into the depths when she vanished from the present, she appeared in the past on the surface, in a grassy clearing that Hyrule's first king and queen just so happened to be walking through. This also seems to have been the case for the Shard of the Master Sword. Not only did Zelda pull it back through time to this same period, her powers caused it to appear in the Forbidden Construct Chamber, where it could be found by Calamity, the adventuring Korok. So when the mysterious construct activates, it's the result of this forbidden technology reacting to the sacred power of the Master Sword, and so its appearance and its mind changes to reflect this. The construct grows long, wild hair formed from glowing energy, and especially once clothed in an archaic tunic and cloak, he bears a striking resemblance to the bearer of the Master Sword, Link. Just as Minoru says, these constructs are agentic. They possess their own mind and can make their own decisions. It's a little unclear how this differs to the other constructs, like soldiers and stewards, but we can infer that they lack their own wills, and though many of them are capable of speech, they aren't truly independent. So when this forgotten construct absorbs the Shard of the Master Sword, it becomes powered by its light. Its mind focuses on the destruction of evil. It appears to have free will, and just as Link would do, will put itself in any danger in order to protect the weak and the innocent. After the mysterious construct proves itself to King Rauru and his allies, and Zelda recognizes the source of its power, it is officially welcomed into the Resistance. Its tattered cloak is replaced with a clean white hood and an ornate scarf. Just like Link, Zelda's chosen knight, the construct has been knighted, now known as the Knight Construct, the Vessel of Light, perhaps the single greatest warrior in the war against Ganondorf and his forces. Before Age of Imprisonment released, there was a lot of discussion on the identity of this construct. From official artwork and trailer footage, it seemed obvious that it was going to be this game's stand-in for Link, and that's definitely the case. We've seen examples in Tears of the Kingdom of constructs acting as vessels for people's spirits, such as Minoru's, so the idea was, could this new construct be housing the spirit of an incarnation of Link? We now know that that's not quite what's happening here. The Knight construct isn't powered by the time-travelling spirit of Tears of the Kingdom's Link, nor does it appear to contain the soul of a previous incarnation, like the Hero of the Skies or the Hero of Time, and it doesn't seem to have any connection at all to the ancient hero, whose aspect Link can take on as a reward for completing all of Tears of the Kingdom's shrines. The Knight construct is something else, a forgotten Zonai weapon, powered by the Master Sword itself. So how does it work, and why does it look so much like Link? As Minoru suggests, these constructs have cores, which can absorb the energies of light or darkness, and we see an example of a dark version in the Forbidden construct, powered instead by the same gloom that had formed Ganondorf's puppet of Zelda. It's suggested that constructs like this were responsible for the fall of the Zonai. But is the Knight construct simply the result of one of these constructs functioning as intended and being powered by light, or is it more than that? The only direct answers given in-game are suggestions made by Rauru, who is surprised by the power contained in a mere shard of the Master Sword. However, he notes that the fact that Link wielded the Master Sword for good to defend Hyrule is important, seemingly implying that the Knight construct is the result of a kind of imprint of Link, left on the shard of the Master Sword. We don't know how the ancient Zonai powered their machines. Perhaps some of them possessed the same power of light as King Rauru and could imbue machines with this energy. But it seems that the Shard of the Master Sword powers this construct beyond this, allowing the Knight construct to fight in ways that the original Zonai machines could not. And more importantly, fight like Link, utilizing his stances and signature techniques like the spin attack. Exactly how this echo of Link was imprinted on this sword seems clear to me. He is remembered by the consciousness of Phi. Skyward Sword reveals that when the goddess Hylia created the Master Sword, in its original form as the Goddess Sword, she placed within it a spirit, Phi, to serve the one fated to wield the blade. At the end of that game, Phi returns to the Master Sword to begin a sleep without end, but we know that she still exists by the time of Breath of the Wild and Tears of the Kingdom. Her sound effects and theme music play on multiple occasions, and Zelda is even able to communicate with her. Indeed, at the beginning of Age of Imprisonment, when Calamity picks up the broken shard of the Master Sword, we hear a rendition of Phi's theme playing. The shard's pulses of light are accompanied by her sound effect too, which also plays as the construct itself moves. This was another theory discussed before the game's release, that the construct was housing Phi's spirit, allowing her to fight in a physical form. And in some ways, this is true. It's impossible to separate the Master Sword from its spirit, and so even though only a splinter of the blade powers the Knight construct, a splinter of Phi must exist within it too. But it doesn't seem like the construct itself is an avatar for Phi specifically, in the same way that Mineru's construct allows her disembodied spirit to fight. The Knight construct is referred to throughout Age of Imprisonment with male pronouns, and is explicitly designed to look like Link. It is very much a stand-in for the bearer of the Master Sword, rather than the spirit of the blade itself. This becomes clear at the very end of Age of Imprisonment, during the climactic final battle between the vessels of light and darkness. In the same moment as Rauru seals Ganondorf, the Knight construct is able to summon an echo of the Master Sword itself. To me, this proves that the Knight construct is more than what the ancient Zonai had designed. It's an echo of Link, as if his heroism and courage have imprinted on the Master Sword itself. The Knight construct isn't just a machine, it seems to possess the very spirit of the hero, the essence of Link himself. The Knight construct appears to be an even greater force for good than the ancient Zonai imagined, imbued with the sacred light of the Blade of Evil's bane, and the memory of the hero who wields it. Though the Knight construct is a completely new addition to the story of Tears of the Kingdom, Age of Imprisonment manages to fit it in perfectly into the existing lore. At the end of the game, we see the Chamberlain Lenalia begin work on the ancient murals near the imprisoning chamber, the story of the recent war etched into stone, as a warning for future generations about what is sealed nearby. However, despite the crucial role they played in the conflict, Calamity and the Knight construct are deliberately excluded from the histories. They aren't carved into the murals, and the notes written about their adventures by Lenalia are burned. This is because of the sheer power of these constructs, and their role in the fall of the Zonai. Mineru is afraid of the possibility of such powerful technology once again bringing the world to ruin, and so the Knight construct and its role in the imprisoning war is deliberately forgotten. Of all of the new revelations in Age of Imprisonment, the Knight construct is probably my favourite. In a way, it's this game's version of Terrako, the diminutive guardian who travelled back through time in Age of Calamity, even down to it having a corrupted counterpart, the Harbinger Ganon. However, while Terrako's time travel caused a split and led Age of Calamity down an alternate timeline, the Knight construct fits neatly into the existing narrative, without retcons or alternate histories. I find it perfectly believable that the shard of the Master Sword that grazed Ganondorf's cheek landed somewhere on the imprisoning chamber's floor and fell into the past along with Zelda once the ground collapsed. It feels less like a retcon and more of an extension of the existing story. And in terms of the construct itself, it's the perfect way for Link's presence to be felt in a story he has no part in. That the mere memory of him, imprinted on his sacred sword, could turn the tide of the war. A silent guardian, a watchful protector, a dark knight construct. Thanks for watching this video. What do you think of the Knight construct and of Age of Imprisonment's story more broadly? Let me know in the comments. I need to give a big thank you not only to Nintendo UK for sending me out a copy of Age of Imprisonment, but also to Zelda Lore and Monster Maze for discussing ideas with me for this video. Check out their channels in the description for in-depth Zelda coverage. If you like this video, leave a like, or subscribe if you haven't already for more Zelda content. Cheers guys, and I'll see you next time.